Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, beautiful people. Can you see that sunrise in Florida? Hello, beautiful people. Today is a day that is a beautiful day. As you can see, Florida has the prettiest beginnings of the day. That would make a good book title, to have that rising of the sun on a book. I thought we'd come on live right now and talk about Gibbs, Melanie Gibbs. What makes Melanie Gibbs any different than us? How does Melanie Gibb differ from us? We're frustrated with Melanie Gibb because she didn't do the right thing, we think. But we're claiming that we would have done different. We're claiming that we're much smarter than Melanie Gibb when it comes to knowing when it's the right thing to do or not. So when is it the right thing to do? And how do we come to the right thing to do? Well, it's my opinion that we need to behave like we understand connections in life, that we have connections in life, that we're not devoid of making the bigger connections in life. We have blamed Gibb all along for, let's say it bluntly, because I've said the word. It's almost like growing up to be an idiot. Growing up to not know when to do things right. Like informing others of the nasty things that Lori and Chad were devising. That's just for starts. That's just for starts. What happened to Melanie so that she didn't know to stop believing in Lori, to stop believing in Chad? What happened to her? Was she seduced by something? And that seduction took her to a place of inaction? Is that what we have claimed? That Melanie Gibb is at a place of inaction? Hello, everybody. Epicus, I see you. Jenny, Jennifer, I see you. Hello, everybody. I'm really saddened, and we talked about this yesterday, and we're going to talk about it today. I titled this Gibb, Vallow, and Us. What are we doing? Well, I've had a lot of opinionated things to say about Melanie Gibb. I've said a lot of things in the sense of how I would have known what to do right and what to do wrong. And the what to do wrong part's very easy for me. It comes easy for me to do things wrong. They're like knee-jerk reactions. It's only when I put my little tiny pea brain into it and resonate and think is when I start doing things that I believe are right. So why are we talking about this? Why do I have 12 people in chat right now or listening and we're talking about this? Because I'm enraged. I came on enraged yesterday and I'm coming on more enraged today. But I've thought about it all night. You know that I really am opposed to taking children's court documents when those children were victims and throwing them out on the internet. But why is it more sensitive to me? And why do I feel that this is so wrong, that maybe some of us need to think about what they're doing? Charles Vallow just died 1 year ago. His biological children, in my opinion, haven't even progressed through the grieving processes enough to grasp the death of their father. Now, here we are, taking their childhood and bringing it to the World Wide Web without their permission, without their knowledge, probably. Maybe they just woke up one morning. Maybe it was the same morning as when their father died. Maybe it was July 11th when Charles Vallow died. And they woke up on that day, that painful day for them, and they realized that it's even more painful because we're not satisfied with the idea that Charles Vallow was trying to save children. We're so hungry for the next bite online, the next little like, the next little comment, or the little super chat that we get for talking about things that sometimes can be very hurtful to people. So why are we talking about this? Because I'm appalled at grown-up adults that are online passing information about children's histories. The children were victims, and they continue to be victims. They're victims because their father was murdered. They're victims because their half-sister, step-sister, half-brother, step-brother, however it is to phrase, have been murdered. They're victims because their uncle was shot at, almost killed. So who are we to, hi Rebel Rose, thank you Rebel. Who are we, thank you Rebel. I'm so glad you're here because yesterday we did have some teenagers that came on at the very end. So today I didn't put molest in the title. I think that attracted them. They must like those, words to stream or something. So my question to you is exactly this. How are we any better if we act like a rag? Are we the sun? Are we the National Enquirer? We don't have any ethics to fall by. We don't have, because because this is my channel, that means I can slaughter any which way I want to. Gibb did that. I thought we learned something from her. She acted any which way she wanted. She just didn't act the right way. And we saw that, and we got very angry at that. So why is it that we can perform the same senseless broadcasting of information, but in reverse, we haven't acted on it? What am I saying here? I'm saying exactly this. The kid's life, Charles Vallow's kid's life, while they were children, is their life. We are not a rag. YouTubers are not rags. We're not the sun. Yeah, thank you. Hello, Tina. Hi, Kim Louise from Australia. We're not the sun. We don't need to come on here and take parts of children's life that are still alive. And those children aren't just still alive, but they're still grieving the loss of their father. We don't have to come on here and expose their childhood, which they might not even have worked through yet. So let's pile this up for them. We got the kid's child life that was around Lori that was horrendous. We know it. There's nothing that can be around Lori that isn't horrendous. There's nothing around Lori that can be without deviance and lies. But what can be around Lori is innocent children. So let's take those innocent children and let's value them. Yes, let's value them. Instead of taking their childhood and not asking them, because I don't think one provider on this, one creator, have called up the kids and said, can we use your childhood private information when you were a victim? Can we talk about it in any form that we want to talk about it in? Can we take court papers that are one-sided, that are the side that gets written? It's not the side that doesn't get written. There's always two sides, what gets written in the court papers and what doesn't get written. And both parties in a divorce use whatever is in benefit of themselves, as you well know. But what isn't in those court papers is what those children would have said and what those children would say today if we gave them a chance. But no, we're not doing that. We're taking their grieving time from their father, all three of them, and we are running over their childhood for what? As I said before, for clicks, for likes on the thing, for super chats, for ad money that YouTube pays people. We a Melanie Gibb. That's my point. YouTube's a Melanie Gibb. Melanie Gibb did not seem to care enough to reach out when she needed to. That's what we all say. We say, oh yes, we don't think she was part of the murders. We just don't think she reached out when she should have. And yes, I believe that could be true. Hi, everybody. But what is wrong here? How do we accept the idea that we as YouTube creators have the right to take children's lives and broadcast them without their permission. At least a national TV station will call up the persons and get a release of some type, or say, do you want to make a statement? Or they'll say to the now grown adult, but hey, is there a way I can pose this news in a way that it will be less hurtful for you? No, we don't do that. We just go online and we read off a child's life. We read off what they had no say of. So not only were they victimized, if anything is true in the documents, but they're victimized because now we don't give them a chance to be a part of what we're going to say about them. I think it is unbelievably, and I mean it, unbelievably cold-hearted of people that get online, just like I am now, and when the person's been a victim, not the perpetrators, the victims, they were children. Hi, Mad Jack. And then we, and the hi, human animal. Yes, they coach these kids. These kids didn't have a good time with Lori. It wasn't fun, Lori, because when she took you to the swimming pool, or when she did something fun with you, it was at your expense somehow. Somehow you had to serve Lori. You tell me that growing up with Lori wasn't serving Lori. No one could be around Lori that doesn't serve her in some function. So how do we get to this? How do we get to, here it is, and we're taking those children's child life right 1 year after their father dies. We don't give those 3 boys time to grieve about their father. They just learned that their brother and sister were killed. They just learned that June 9th, okay? And we don't give them time to grieve. We just start muddling on the baloney to them. We just pack it on and pack it on and pack it on. Because what are we doing? We claim that the National Enquirer has junk, that puts out junk news. Are we doing the same? Are we putting out junk news? Oh, not for $1 million contracts like the National Enquirer or the Star or the Sun or any of those rags. We're just putting them on for clicks, likes, super chats, whatever it might be. How dare us, and I mean it, how dare us come on a forum like this and expose children's childhood without getting their permission, without asking them if this might make them spiral further into a depression or into the sadness that grief entails. We don't know how those 3 boys are doing. So why would we want to come on and add more misery to the loss of their father, the loss of their brother and sister, and the almost loss of Brandon Boudreau, their uncle? Isn't that enough madness for young adults? And do we have some type of ethical side of this, of being a channel, of being a YouTube creator? Do we have some kind of ethical side to us that says there's places we won't go because they're victims, because they were children, because they're young adults who just had their father savagely murdered? they had their sister and brother savagely murdered. Yes, yes. Oh, thank you, TP. Now I'm going to read what little TP writes. Seems like they've already destroyed Tylee and JJ. Now this mess is going to try to destroy anyone it can. So sad. And that's what we're talking about. Destroying humanness. Has having this device in front of us made us capable of not thinking of the human beings behind it? I'm no priest or minister or anybody. I'm just a regular old person. But I cry for those boys. I cry that they lost their father. I cry that they lost their brother and sister. I cry. Yes, we lost Charles Vallow. He was trying to save his children. He was trying to pluck them out of this. Yes, thank you, Rebel. How can they even walk out of their homes without someone hounding them like the media or just people on the streets? Everyone knows their faces. Everyone knows that the areas. Yes, human animal, are we victimizing them again? And I'm so glad I have a moderator, because yesterday at the end of the thing, it was horrible with teenagers. It was teenage craziness. So I guess that's the good of it. But I have had people say they're not going to come back unless there's a moderator because of hurtful things. So I'm so glad we have one, so everyone can be safe here. This can be a safe channel. Yes, yes. How do we take someone's childhood and give the world, and I'm going to say it in my terms, the big middle finger, and say, we don't care about your grief. We don't care. Our story is bigger than your grief. Our story is bigger than violating any moral terms about exposing your childhood. Yes, that's not right either, Jen. Jenny, are you saying that in the sense that they're mentioning kids that are still alive? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, they do. They're mentioning the kids that are still alive and still in the grief process. 1 year of losing a parent is not, in the way that they lost their parent, is by no means long enough for a kid to, a young adult, to come to terms with his death, especially when his death gets reported in the media in any which way all the time. It's not like they're not in the public spotlight. Are we doing what we claimed Melanie Gibb did? Are we not thinking of what the conditions we're making are going to do to people down the line? Are we not? We claim that Melanie Gibb didn't do the right thing. But we claim that she didn't do the right thing because she didn't have the know-how. That she never had the know-how because she is a cult member. And I believe that. So how come us, the ones that claim that Melanie Gibb did wrong by not doing the right thing, are copying her by putting information out there that has nothing to do with the case. It has to do with children's lives. And most of it probably isn't true. But that's not the point. The point is we don't respect their grieving time. We don't respect their childhood. We're doing the same that Melanie Gibb did when she brought Tylee into the police department and didn't suggest that Tylee leaves the room. We're doing the same. We're taking children into a place they should not be. Whether those children are young adults now or not has no bearing on it. The bearing is these kids need a chance to grieve. Jenny Jennifer says it's not only the grief they are trying to deal with, it's all the things with this cult that they will go on for years. Yes, there's too many tentacles here. Now we're going to say, because we're greedy YouTubers, me included, we're going to write a greedy story. Well, isn't that what we said about Lori? Didn't we say her life was about greed, doing what's in her best interest? And that she had no impulse control? That when she wanted something, she went after it, and that was that? Correct, Rebel. Rebel says there's too many people who are having their lives turned upside down and not giving them time enough to get their life straight. And it's going to be a lot of time. But to go on YouTube and recite papers about childhood victimization, that's what we're talking about. You're taking what they had done to them, if it is true, because it's two sets of adults talking for the children. And yes, we're adding to it. It's, yes, so we're being the drama. So we're no longer the people that sit back and critique and say, hey, listen, we're not drama-based. We're not going to use a child's victimization. No, we do worse. We come on here like we have some kind of moral conscience, and then we obliterate it by putting things about childhood victimization on here. Yes, it's very sobering is right. Yes, it's very sobering because we're wrong. And to have people to come on here and say that we're right and stick up for, we should, everything should be out there. No, it shouldn't be out there. We're humans. Those boys are suffering. You saw how Lori treated them after the death of their father. You saw the lack of response that they got from her. That just started their year off. Then they had to find the real truth, why she was killed. They had to find the real truth of why she was killed. I mean, how much more do we expect them to take? Yeah, I'll get the thumbs down. I want the thumbs down. Everyone gives me the thumbs down. I like the thumbs down. You know why? Because when you're a YouTube creator, including myself, there's got to be integrity. And taking childhood's victimization and putting it online without their consent, without giving them the resources to process what this exposure is going to do to them now and in the future is as vile as Lori. As vile as Lori. We can say we don't like Lori because she had no sensitivity to her own children. Well, if we're putting victimization of children online, then we have no room to speak. Yes, Rebel Rose, we all have packages in our lives that we need to protect and our family members from. We all have packages. We've all had deaths. We've all had victimizations that come in all forms. We all have people that are very sad because of victimizations. We have people in our life that are trying to learn how to live having those victimizations. But when we don't give the kids a chance, when we just come on and spout, and then we put down YouTubers like myself who are saying, no, there's places we can't cross. There's places we can't go. You don't take a child's victimization. Think of it as your child. Think of it as your cousin or your best friend's child. Would you want their victimization? Hi, Claudia, Rebecca. Thank you so much. Think about if it was someone that you loved, and I mean really loved, someone who meant the world to you, and their childhood that was as dastardly as anyone's childhood could be that lived around Lori, was put on the World Wide Web for anyone to comment on, for anyone to like or not like, for anyone to say whatever they want about. I can't imagine having childhood victimization like this and someone exploiting it to this degree. To put it, I just can't. Can you answer me, guys? If you were sexually abused or thought to be, would you want it illustrated on the web? Would you want your abuse to some unethical person to go get your files from a court if that's indeed what they did, and then broadcast them to YouTubers who want to make money, who go very nicely? Every time one of those, just like Lori, every time one of those super chats come in, they go, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much for that super chat. That means so much to me. Oh, yeah? Does it mean that much to you? That you'll exploit children? Come on now. Talk about greed. Talk about greed. You notice I don't have a super chat. I hope I don't. I say that and I hope I don't. But anyways, I don't have a super chat. And I said on a murder case, I'm never going to have a super chat. I am never going to have a vehicle to make money other than what the YouTube gives me for putting ads on my channel. I guess they might right now put ads on my channel. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, hit the thumbs down too, Rebel. It really doesn't matter to me. I like the thumbs down. You know why? Because it invigorates me. It makes me feel like, okay, there's some people with some gumption out there. I'd rather have people with gumption that will stand up for what's right and wrong. And this is wrong. We do not take. Has someone called Cheryl Wheeler or anyone involved and said, can we use your court records to put online? Because we think we're such empirical people here that we can use children's victimization and that we can carve out a way to explain how Lori is. Do we really need to explain who Lori is? Don't we get it without victimizing grown children with their own childhood victimization, don't we always know that when children are victimized, that it's not their fault and that it's going to probably take a lifetime to get rid of the effects of victimization, if ever. So how can we, as grown people, having YouTube channels, come on here and say, yes, we'll be like Gibb. We'll pretend that we don't see the ramifications of our actions, because that's exactly what, hi Patch, that's exactly what we have done to Gibb. Haven't we said that she never looked at the ramifications of what was going on around her? Yes. Thank you, human animal. That takes a lot of guts. Human animal says she feels shame for watching some of that. That's a learning experience. Thank you, human animal. She says it's a learning experience, and of course it is. I don't want to chastise people for going on and watching it. I want to encourage people to think of these boys as if they were their own boys and they had the same victimizations. When you have children, when you have grandchildren, when you have nieces and nephews, you got to act. Oh, okay. Who's causing troll trouble? Oh, yeah, yeah. No, Patch, I said it. I said I don't care if it's a thumbs down. I said that. She's just repeating what I said. Yeah, we're not gonna get into this on this. This is much bigger than us on a little channel. This is taking someone's childhood and saying, how far will we go to expose? And what's the need? You guys tell me. You tell me, what's the need to expose the boys' childhoods? Oh, good, Patch. Thank you. I don't know. Oh, okay. Oh, you see Rebel with a wrench and then you want to run, right? The Rebel Rose. Tell me, you guys tell me. What do you think? I'm incensed. I'm incensed because we're doing in the reverse of what we said, that Gibb didn't pay attention to what was around her. She didn't take information and synthesize it enough to do the right thing. So are we doing the same? Are we not taking information and yeah, and oh no, Maureen, I didn't mean that anyone has to unsubscribe or not like the people. The people, in my opinion, the people that are using this information and taking it. I'm glad that you're making a stance, Maureen. That's a good stance that you unsubscribe. But really what could happen maybe is if you wrote to the creator and said, we're violating a childhood trauma. They were traumatized. They weren't just, this wasn't about goodness that came in their life. This was trauma. Whether the trauma was true or not, they should have redacted. Thank you, Claudia, because those boys will be labeled deviant because of Lori. Thank you. See, you all say it better than me. You all say it. Yes, we're not a forgiven society. We are not a forgiven society. Social media makes us less forgiven. And yes, I couldn't have said it better. Claudia says it. The boys will be labeled deviant because of Lori. Tylee and JJ is the only relevant information. You're 100% right. So you took that information and you brought it down to where it should be, and that's exactly where I am. Yes, yes, Leah. I completely disagree with the outing of private court case. 100% so wrong, but are we so sure the stories Lori told to get higher child support were true? It doesn't matter if true or not, Leah. The impact, and that's a great question. The impact alone, we aren't judge and jury. Just like people called me yesterday. They said, you're not judge and jury. Like, I can't judge this. Well, I am going to judge this situation. I am going to say that I'm not touching those paperworks, that I went on a couple of sites and saw that they were there, and I was disgusted. And I went off the sites, not because I'm slamming the creator. I'm disgusted. We got to take on those boys. If we're taking on Charles the way we've taken on Charles, how do we not take on the boys the same way? How do we not put them under our proverbial arms the same way we do Charles? And protect them. This is, yes, Maureen, most of it's untrue. Most of it's untrue, but it doesn't matter. That's going to follow them in their jobs. Do you know do you know if they wanted to, let's use one scenario. Let's use this. One decides to go to college. What's he want to be? A psychologist. Why? Because he had a mad mother. And he's learned a lot from living around someone mad. Do you know what that does for his entry? Do you know that a lot of people wouldn't want to go to a psychologist with this crap out on the internet? Yes, the crap. Thank you, Claudia. I am pro the children. I am pro the children. No one else matters. And those children can be the young adults that were children under Lori's, charge. What do you mean you did the same, Mad Jack? I'm saying resolve the issue. I'm saying talk to people and resolve it like I am right now. I am not mentioning people's names. I wouldn't do that. I know a creator went on and mentioned me by characteristics of me, not by my name. She didn't say Gumshoe Graham, but she made sure people knew exactly who she was talking about. That's petty. That's petty, petty, petty. I'm not saying to unsubscribe or not like people. I am saying to help them learn to understand the damage they can do. And they're doing it as we speak, just by putting these documents out. They're doing it. I did read Melanie Pawlowski's childhood paperwork, but that was after the fact that Melanie had already come out and told us her story. So at that point, you get the right to. If those boys had come out and told us their stories and gave us an idea of their baseline of truth, not what the adults were putting in there as truth, their own baseline of truth, then maybe we could say something. I know they didn't redact their names. They didn't redact anything in the paperwork, Rebel. They just put their names out there when they were victims. You don't do that. Even the state, when you become a victim, like this, they don't allow you. Oh, thank you, human animal. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Uh, Leave with the idea that it's about teaching people to be morally responsible for victims. You can't use victimization as an aha moment. I know, Stephanie, it's awful. I know. If we could all give him a proverbial hug right now, like I guess it's a viral hug, we would, because we gotta love those children like we love Charles, and like we've learned to love Brandon, and that we've learned to love Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Tylee. You don't separate it and then use them as, oh, this will add flavor for my channel. Oh, I'm going to get a lot of likes. Well, guess what? I've said it before, I'm saying it again. Give me all the dislikes, or give me nothing, because it means nothing to me. If it means you're taking a child who is still through the grieving process and you're stamping on their faces. And you know what? This particular creator gave me the big middle finger. You know what that means? Yeah, the F word. In a nice way, she gave me the big middle, because she was saying she didn't care about how the ramifications of her actions are going to be. That was her attitude. I heard it with my own ears. I clicked off and I said, this is phony baloney. This is phony baloney. Yes, I could pay for the documents. If I had gotten them, Maureen, I would have hid them, because that's the adult thing to do. I would have hid them. Yeah. Maureen said, if you said anything about it, would get blocked anyways. Didn't like their approach on things during the live chats and told everyone to shut up. Oh, yeah. 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 Well, obviously the message got out from yesterday that I am besides myself with the information of the children's victimization being exploited like this. Anthony says, yeah, I know, huh? Oh, I watched the Watts case, and you should have seen the evil in it. If I don't know if all of you or some of you watched it, but the evil creators would do just to get the likes. Like. Is that true, Anthony? In what way can it get them in legal? That, I know. It's like, are we the Sun? Are we the National Enquirer? Is that what we're made of? We don't have any ethics. We don't have any moral obligation to victims. You know, this makes us a third world country. When we start acting barbaric, that we do not take children's victimization in consideration, and we don't try to protect them as young adults, it's barbaric. I just can't imagine it. I mean, how many people in chat have had people, young children, be victimized in their family? I mean, has anyone in this chat ever had a child victimized in any way? If you have, you know that the foremost thing to protect that growing child is to only let the child have the power of the information. Nobody else. No one else should have that power of that information. Yes, Claudia. I don't know what the legal ramifications could be. That is called invasion of privacy. Then papers belong to individuals that were minor children. It is still legal to publicize them papers unless one of them children publicize their own, not everybody. We are not allowed to publicize a minor child assault that is legal no matter what page. You were not a courtroom and we're not the person, their wife's not a private. Yes, that's exactly how I feel, Anthony. I don't know, Rebel. That's a good question. Can we appeal to the state that it happened in? Wasn't it Texas? Can Texas, I mean, this is crazy. Can we get a law going to protect the children? I'm back, says Jenny Jennifer. I just unsubscribed from that other channel. I don't know what other channel. There's many channels that are putting it out. And I'm telling you, not all of them are doing it with malice. They're not doing it. The only one I heard referred to me in her conversation. She referred to me. So that's the only one that it's like you shouldn't refer to me if you think I don't understand that you're referring to me. I'm back. I just unsubscribed from that other channel. There are so many individuals trying to make a YouTube a career, and the competition drives these ridiculous reportings. Thank you. Oh, thank you, they say. I can't stand hearing it. Oh, thank you for that super chat. Oh, thank you for that. It's like, thank you. I just heard the tin can set in front of me clink. You know, someone just threw the quarters in by passing by. It's so phony baloney. And then they take people who are lonely. That's what really gets me, is they prey on lonely people. I wonder if the boys know about these records. If I were them, I'd be off social media. Yes, Claudia. The ES channel that I think was the first one that paid for those documents. I get it. Yes. Yes, I know what channel you're talking about. Thank you, Rebel. That's exactly what it is, says Mad Jack. I gotta see what, there are so many individuals. Yes, that's what it is. They want the easy way out. They want to come on and just throw anything that, without caring about what, this personal integrity involved. And we're not immature. We're not 20 years old, and we it's not like we don't know the difference, what damaging results can come. You know, I'm going to go, what if someone created suicide? What if someone created suicide because we're damaging them? What does that mean? They're very proud. What does that mean? That just because it's watermarked, Claudia, they think they're like, oh, so smart or something? Yes, thank you, Anthony. Yes. Yes, it is. I said that yesterday, Anthony. I'm not sure if you were here yesterday, but I did say that. It is a Cox family switcheroo to start making it look like there was, but it was Lori. We all know that. Lori's the one that instigated it all. Lori always plays her games. Her and Summer. Yes. Her and Summer always do the switcheroos. They wanted credit for big deal. They get, you know, like I said, I'm not going to blame a creator, but I want them to understand that I don't understand it. Let a family grieve. They just found out their brother and sister are dead a month ago. Don't they have, where is their sensitivity chip? Yes, Mad Jack. Yes, lower than a snake's belly. And at least a snake, Mad Jack, most of them will run from you. These people are running towards us to infiltrate us with garbage, with things that aren't scientific papers. Those papers mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. We can't prove that they're true, and we cannot prove that they're untrue. We can't dissect those papers and come to a determination of the validity of them. So why would we take something that's invalid, extremely invalid, and spray it against the World Wide Web? Georgia, the papers, the court papers about young boys that were violated, that are being spread around the internet. Young boys that were childhood victims. Yes, they were the custody documents regarding, I don't know who ND. Oh, yeah. Yes, the custody papers and the divulgent victims in it. Kids that were victimized possibly as children. And is the victimization from only Lori? Did she work this all up into a frenzy, as she always does, and then turn it to be the kids' issue? I mean, this whole family is crazy. The whole Cox family suffers from emotional, physical, mental, and sexual abuse. And then they do it upon the world. They take what they suffer from, and then they do it upon the world. There's no question about it, that they do it upon the world. So that's where we're at. Is there a way? Can you think of a way? Does anyone have the wherewithal here to understand how we can shut that paperwork down? How we can try to, we can ask creators in a nice way not to publicize the papers. We can ask creators to redact information as much as they can. We can ask creators to think of the victims in these papers as if they're their own children. Yes, they're doing the switcheroo as usual, Anthony. Yes, someone hired these people, in my opinion, to switcheroo, to say, look at the disgust in all of this. But, you know, at least one of these victims is a Cox, you know? Yes, Rebel. They do need the mental ward. But the thing is, does anyone have any ideas in the chat how to come at this? We don't want to enrage people. We want to stop it where it is. How do we stop people from giving out? How do we reach them? Yeah, they're evil, Georgia. But how do we reach these people? Yes, the Cox family is upset because they know that, but that's their family. Anthony, you forget that some of the victims have Cox blood. Yeah, I don't know, Rebel. I asked that question yesterday. Yes, Stephanie. Yes, Stephanie, I agree with you. She says some of these videos in this case are saying that anyone can buy the papers. I cannot believe all of this. Oh, so that's where we start. The guys, the people that have seen the papers, can you tell me where they were from? Was it from the state of Texas? Were they the state of Texas, and was it from Austin, Texas? Yes, they need to be wiped off forever so they don't mess the young children who have grown up and they're victims again. They were victims in their childhood from plots, and now they're victims in their young adulthood because of murders. Who are the owners of the papers? I would think that the owners would have legal authority to pull them back. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they really came from an official, if someone paid, $1 a page or whatever they tried to think. Happens every day, Rebel. Happens every day. Kids get exploited. Look at that person. I guess you can't mention his name. The guy that killed himself in jail in New York City. Why can't I mention his name? Someone said you can't mention his name on YouTube. I don't know why. Oh yeah, but yeah, you can't. I was told you can't mention his name, Georgia. This, I don't know who's protecting who. So we can mention child victims, but we can't mention the perpetrated? Yes, I've heard you can't. Yeah, I think, does anyone know about that? It was from Scott Reich, Crime Talk. I once wrote to a judge to enforce my ownership of papers. She did. She went ballistic at Lloyd. Oh, nice, TA. Nice. Yes, yes, Patch. That's where we're at today. That's where we're at today. We're exactly, once they're exposed on YouTube, it's like mercury. It goes everywhere. But the problem is people take it as, when they think if it's a court document, they think it as truth. Well, we know what truth is. We've listened to Melanie Pawlowski enough to know what truth is and isn't. But there's a lot of people out there that don't have those skills or don't have the life experience to understand about truth. What is, that you have to discern the truth, that you have to read the papers and say, can I really say that this is true? Of course you can't. But they like to appeal to the people that only take facts from a court paperwork, from a court document. Mo needed the plan about Charles being shot. Knew the plan. Of course, Anthony. I bet, I would assume he did. I would assume he did. They should be sealed as Charles's murder is being investigated and Lori murdered. Yes. They're not sealed now. Just like when they're out, they're out. But can we stop the people from outing it? Can we ask them to have some kind of allegiance to child victims? I've never heard of this in my life. I was appalled yesterday. I was appalled yesterday for the same reason. What happened? What happened that we don't know how these papers got work? And we complain about Gibb. We're doing worse than her. We're damaging the future of child victims. That's killing them in a sense. Okay, so none of us is going to kill one of those kids, but we killed them in a sense by defaming them with information. What makes news doesn't mean that it's truth, but to report the truth doesn't make good news. Yes, Rebel. They should be sealed as Charles' murder is being investigated in Lori's murder. Yes. How do we know Lori didn't pull the trigger and not Alex? We don't, Georgia. We don't. That's why I always say all three killed them all. Alex, Chad, and Lori were in part the killers. Poor, we got rid of some people. They got on and they're like, oh no, this is too heavy for us. We don't want to get into, this is called politics. This is when we're taking information and we're saying it's not right. We're saying, let the family grieve. Walk gently while the family grieves. Don't bang them over the head. Rebel says they want what will bring in the money. Yeah. Well, I'm going to say, shame on them. Shame on anyone that shares childhood victimization. Shame on them. The only persons that have that right, in my opinion, is the child that may have grown into a young adult now. That can be their choice if they want to expose their victimization as a child. They were protected as children for a reason, so it wouldn't cloud them the rest of their lives. So they could walk into adulthood and have a clean slate because of what adults did to them in their childhood doesn't rule their destiny. And we're taking that right away from them. Stephanie says, I also saw on these videos that a psychic said that Lori, I don't know. Bye, Steph. I don't know, she just redacted her stuff. Jenny, no, it's sad. I hope that's not their motive. I really hope that the money, yeah, Patch. I hope it. You got to have morals. Even the best, even Keith Morrison from Dateline wouldn't expose this stuff without. That's what makes Keith Morrison who he is. Because he would take in how his information is going to add to someone or subtract from someone's life. He wouldn't just throw information out like it is. There's plenty of other ways to make money on YouTube. Of course. Yeah, you can have a cooking show or something. You can show how to build a motor or take a motor apart. I mean, there's a million and one ways, but to use someone's victimization as a child, as an intention, and then to put me down for saying that I didn't like the idea. It's not about me. This ain't, what was the word she said? Oh, she said it was about power. That I was saying that because it gave me power. How does it give me power? What is the power that I get out of this by saying it's wrong to victimize children? In fact, I think it's reverse. I think I lay myself down and say, I'll take the onslaught. I'll take it. I'll shoulder it because I think it's wrong. It's not about power. It's about caring about another human being, caring about a child that had a difficult childhood and now is trying to venture into adulthood and haven't even grieved his family. The families have been annihilated. Their brother, their sister, their father has left them. It's been a family annihilation. What don't they really understand? Oh, human animal, you're so good about that. Thank you. You're so good about, we're all like that. We're retrospective. We watch something and I do it all the time. I'll watch something and I'll go, while I was watching it, I didn't even think about it. But it came to me later. It came to me afterwards. No, think about, each one of us, take the most precious thing that we would not want the world to know. And write it right now, I'm just kidding. Write it right now on you got 200 characters for a message on my chat. Write the thing that you wouldn't want anyone to know on my 200 character chat space. And I'm going to promise you I won't exploit it. Do you believe me? And should you trust me? Of course you shouldn't. And of course you shouldn't ever have what has happened to you when you've been the victim released by anyone except yourself. It can only be yourself that releases that information. No one else. Now, I hope I've appealed to you guys enough to understand that it's not right. And we don't want to take mallets or swords or whatever and beat up people for not doing what's right. We want to educate them, and we want to just nudge them a little bit and say, hey, wait a minute. You're not thinking this through. Melanie Gibb, you're not thinking this through. We all blamed her for not thinking things through, for not coming to what a resolution would have looked like. Well, this resolution ain't looking good, guys. What's going to happen with this information is not looking good. So Melanie Gibb isn't as bad as we think, is she? It's pretty bold of us all, because I've done it myself, to sit and attack Melanie. She's one person. But we got many people online who are exposing things they shouldn't expose. Yes. Oh, Kim Louise, you're so right. What a beautiful thing to say. She says, it's sad that everyone sharing this chat right now have more love for the kids than their supposed mother. Oh, it is sad. Absolutely agree. The children deserve protection, but it looks like it's too late. Yes. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna get beat on now heavy by the YouTube world because I got beat on yesterday for it, and I'm gonna get beat on, and it's okay. I got big shoulders, you know. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so sick of hearing that. I'm so sick. It's a murder case, and they're thankful of super chats, right? They're thankful that they're sitting there, you know what's on the couches while people are in desperate pain and they don't care about it. Yes, we all would have, Rebel. She's saying she's saying that she would have taken I would have taken them all in. I would have taken them all in. I didn't know that, guys. I didn't know that money would make you go against ethics and morals and forget about ethics and morals. Pretend those don't even exist, but just caring about a child's destiny. What are you doing to the child's destiny when you put out papers that can help destroy him as a person or his future? What makes you think that talking about power, this YouTuber said I was about power by telling people not to expose those papers? That is power. You can facilitate ruining someone's life by putting out paper. Hi everyone. Hi Katrina from Argentina. Hi DJ. Oh, yeah, I'm not from New York though, but people thought I was. I'm from 1 hour from Boston. I'm from the suburbs of Boston, it's not the suburbs, it's the metropolitan area of Boston. So, but that's where they always thought I was from New York. But back to where we're at. We don't do things. We have to make personal decisions not to hurt someone. And I can say to myself, okay, well, I've hurt Melanie Pulowski a lot, and I've hurt Summer Shitler a lot, and I've hurt Janice Cox a lot, and Alex Cox, and Chad Daybell, and tack on some more. Yeah, Boston's nice. Yeah, Boston's nice. Oh, okay. Bye, human animal. Watch a good movie. Sleep well. You do, Patch? It's all right. It's all right. It's not upsetting me. It's not, the channel isn't upsetting me. It's teaching me that they don't care. And when I realize that people don't care, then it is my job, I feel, to say you better educate yourself so you are. No, everyone from Boston thought I was from New York, so you guys are on the money. The first thing that people would ask me in Boston, are you from New York? I got that my whole life. No, it's deaf speech. It's deaf speech. That's what the doctors told me when they met me. They said I have deaf speech. It's a tone that you have in your voice. California time. I live in California, Oregon border, and it was 103 yesterday. I'm at the edge of the redwoods, and this heat is hot. Wow. Yeah. At least it's dry, right, DJ? I lived in Carpinteria for a while, DJ. That's south of you, way south of you, right next to Santa Barbara. Yeah, Anthony, there's legal matters in the public records released of a child. I've never heard of it that you can get it. And I've never heard that you can get something stamped and display it like that. Maybe you have access, but did they say when you bought the documents that you can display it to the public? Venus rising, you live. So did I, Graham. I don't know. Graham, I also thought you were from New York. I don't know. Reagan territory. Oh, yeah. Oh, they do have signs. You're right, DJ. They have signs down there. Ronald Reagan Road, and all kinds of. They have a Ronald Reagan Museum. You're 100% right. I remember seeing those. Right on the beach, yes. It's scary because if you got children in school, because the school's right on the beach as well, the whole town's on the beach. That's where Kevin Costner lives there. Jeff, is it Daniels? Jeff Daniels. There's quite a few of those type, you know. Yes. Stephanie, it's the building is the Prudential building. The Prudential building. I didn't even think I could remember that. Yes, they even have a space museum and a space shuttle next to the museum. See? Yeah, I used to pass it.